nini mambo na depression? Tulikuwa na that topic na ilihang.
Tulikuwa na that topic na sikusikia kama nimeifanyia enough justice.
Exactly.
Na ndio nikasema pia leo tuwe na part 2 na tuongee about depression. Tuongee about issues of stress. Kuna siku tutaongea about stress and stress management. But kwa sasa nataka tuongee about depression. Tuliongea sababu nyingi za yani mtu anaweza pata depression kwa sababu nyingi. So I wanted to stress on a few that I know are more real on the ground. They are more real on the ground. Kuna issues of loss. Issues of loss. Loss can be anything. Loss of a loved one, loss of an item, even loss of an item, can also lead to depression. Loss of somebody can lead to depression. So hizo ndio mambo zinaweza fanya mtu apate depression. Loss of relationships, loss of a loved one. Yani mtu ambaye ulikuwa unapenda sana umepoteza, amekufa na kwa hivyo huwezi ona life kama kuna life after that. Unasikia uko depressed, unasikia utaki kuongea na mtu, unasikia unataka kujifungia kwa nyumba, unasikia maisha haiwezi endelea. So hizo pia ni causes ambazo ziko real on the ground. Tuko pia na financial difficulties.
Yes, exactly.
Financial difficulties actually also lead to a lot of depression. There are people probably who are earning very good money, or they had nice businesses, good businesses, they were making good money, and then zikapotea. Either business ikaenda chini, ama COVID, ikaja, ama ikachomeka na huko umefanya insurance, ama, financial difficulties. Ama umepoteza kazi. Unasikia hutaki hata kuongea na marafiki zako wale ulikuwa naongea nao zamani. Unasikia hutaki kuwa pamoja na wengine. Unasikia hutaki kutoka nje. Unasikia uko isolated, uko depressed. Unasikia nobody really understands you because of the financial difficulties that you're going on, because of the change of financial status. So vitu kama hizo pia zina cause depression sana kule chini. Na actually wakati wa COVID kuna watu wengi sana walienda through depression kwa sababu they lost income, they lost their jobs, they lost their jobs, they lost their income. Alafu kuna yale maisha umezoea na unashindwa kuenda chini ya zaidi ya mali uko. Unaona mtu ambaye labda alikuwa anaishi mtaa mzuri, alikuwa anaishi a very nice estate, lazima aanze kushift ama aanze kufungiwa nyumba, anaanza kushift from one apartment to the other, from a cheap one to a cheaper one to the cheapest, like that. So watu wanapata depression kwa sababu ya financial situation. Watu wanapata depression kwa sababu ya rejection. Umekataliwa. Na si kukataliwa kwa sababu ni relationship. Hata sasa tunaongea juu ya politics.
Exactly.
Angalia vile tunasikia wale watu ambao labda ulikuwa unataka mtu wako akue pale ama upatiwe, alafu hujapatiwa. Unaweza enda through depression. Ama ulikuwa unasikia mtu wako apatiwe, alafu hajapata. Unasikia uko disappointed. And sometimes unaanza kuchukia watu. Especially kama ni about voting. Kama ni about voting, and maybe people were mobbing you and telling you ni wewe tu, hakuna mwingine, hakuna mwingine, ni wewe tu. And then finally ikija voting, hata wale ulikuwa unatarajia watakupigia kura hawajakupigia kura. Na hii message si tu kwa political situation that we have in the country, but even for students that vie. Sahi kuna vie, KUSA, na other organizations, also other institutions that also where there is voting and where there is vying. Sometimes the expectation of these aspirants is so high, and then there is so much mobbing and so much telling them ground iko sawa kabisa.
And by the way, some of these people, they are very new into this, madam.
Very new.
Haujazoea this pressure na uko pale now. How today wanaweza waka adjust aje?
Sasa ndio maana nataka tuongee about causes kwanza, alafu tuongee how can they deal with this particular
Exactly.
situation.
Yes.
So rejection,
yeah,
even people who are vying, change of job and environment. Actually, change of job and environment, I think I can talk about it, because there is a time I changed my job.
Yes. So you are victim
then,
of this.
I was taken to some place that really I felt the environment was not very conducive for me, and temporarily I felt like, hey, I think something must be done. Something must be done.
Yes.
So change of environment, change of job, it can also lead to depression. It can lead to depression. So it's very important for people to know that these are some of the things that they need to watch out for when there is there are changes in their lives, or when there is rejection, or whether there is something that actually is making them not to continue with their normal life as it was. It's very, very important for people to watch out on that. Sasa umeniuliza swali mzuri sana.
Yes.
How can they adjust?
Exactly. Nilikuwa nimezoea kazi nzuri mama. Nilikuwa nimezoea pesa nzuri naingia. Nilikuwa naishi in good apartment. But vintu vichenjanga. Now how do I adjust?
Vintu vichenjanga. On the ground ni vitu ni different.
Exactly. Now how do I adjust to this?
Okay. Now, of course, now it depends on what it is that has changed. It depends on whether what has changed is due to maybe economical status. It depends on whether it is a feeling of rejection. It depends on whether it is a political situation, or a political or elections that probably have not favored you in one way or another. It really depends on what the situation is. Now, if it is things to do with loss, if it is things to do with loss like death, death, there is nothing you can be able to do.
Exactly.
If someone has gone, there is nothing you can be able to do. But you can be able to start doing what we call coping mechanisms. You can start doing coping mechanisms, probably even going through counseling, or even being with people, listening to people, being with people, social gatherings, being there present in social gatherings, or even in churches. Those people go to church, going to church, listening to the word of God, and listening to encouraging things that are encouraging in one way or another. So if it is loss, if it is death especially, you can be able to look for coping mechanisms to be able to deal with it. If it is issues of elections, again, I will look at it in a deeper way. But if we talk about elections, anybody going to elections should know that these elections can favor you or not.
Exactly.
There is only one winner, for instance. Lazima tukuwe na deputy mmoja.
Exactly.
Kwa sababu constitution yetu haijasema wawili. Ingesema wawili, tungechukua maybe Kindiki, Professor Kindiki, and maybe Gachagua. Ingesema wawili watatu, tungechukua Kalonzo, tungechukua Martha Karua na wale wengine. So the position is only one. So people who are going through election or elective positions, they should also know that it is either or. You either win or you lose to the other person. Exactly. And if you have lost the other person, it doesn't mean that you are bad. Again, here it comes to perception. What is the perception that you keep? When people don't vote for you, what does your brain tell you? Does it tell you that you are the worst candidate?
You are not.
You're not. It's just that the position, we only need one person.
Exactly.
And either one person can be elected. Issues of finances. What can we do about finances?
Yes.
If someone has lost their jobs, people lose jobs. And I'm not justifying it. But I'm saying you may not be the first one, and you may not be the last one. So you need to encourage yourself and tell yourself, even if this door has been closed, another one will open.
Wow.
So you keep encouraging yourself. You wake up every day, check other opportunities that are there for you. And if you must move from one house to another looking for a cheaper house, by all means do, and go there with a positive attitude. The reason being, even the people who are living in those cheap estates are still human beings.
Exactly.
They are still human beings. So this idea of your brain telling you there are estates that you can't live, there are places that you cannot stay.
Adjust
na maisha. Coping mechanisms. Coping mechanism. Rejection. Chacha.
Yes.
Hata watu wamerudi. Sasa tumefungua na kuna watu wamerudi. Na kuna wengine labda tayari wamepoteza their relationships.
Now it's happening, by the way.
It's happening.
Especially for young people.
It's happening for young people. So if the relationship doesn't work, what you need to tell yourself is, the way you found this person and the relationship became good,
exactly, you
it's
find
the
another
way you find
all
another
is not
one.
lost.
All is not lost. Let us not lose hope. All is not lost.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of the things that someone can be able to do, although I will look at them in a deeper way when we are looking at how what areas does a counselor address. If you go to see a counselor, what areas do they address? So we also look at that. So depression iko chacha, and we are speaking, we are saying, let people speak up, let people talk about it, let people, share these things so that they can be able to live a normal life.
In fact, they say kupoteza kazi si yenye inakuumiza. Kitu inakuumiza ni hizo depression za kupoteza kazi.
That is the thing.
Kusota si tatizo. Tatizo ni hizo stress umejiwekea.
Unajua, wakati fuel ilianza kupotea.
Exactly.
There was a time when fuel was, there was a problem with fuel, and there was crisis. I met a friend of mine, and then she told me, Mghoi, ati hakuna fuel. Kawambia, imagine hakuna fuel. What are people going to do? Then akasema, so long as niko na gunia mahindi kwa nyumba, I don't.
So all is not lost, as Madam Joyce has said.
There is hope.
Yeah.
There is hope. Count your blessings. Count your blessings.
Slowly.
Day by day.
Yeah.
There are so many good things that you have,
exactly,
that you shouldn't really go into depression.
Wow, that's so amazing. Msikilizaji anasema kwamba all is never lost.
Yes.
Usisote uanze kujiua. Wacha kufikiria sana. Okay, Madam Joyce.
Yes.
Tusifikirie sasa juu because you've lost job. Tusifikirie ndo stress isikuje. Unajua sometimes we never realize that we are under stress. Sometimes we never realize that this is depression.
Yes.
How do you understand that I'm depressed, I'm stressed?
The signs. We talked about the signs the other time, but they are still the same signs, especially for children. Now let me talk about signs for children to know that a child is depressed. There is irritability, not only for a child, but also adults. They become irritable. Anything small, they are up. Mood swings. They are annoyed. They are, they are angry. So there is irritability. There is also anger. Sometimes you find wako tu na hasira. Na hakuna kitu. There is nothing. There's no justifiable reason. But you find that they are angry, or someone is angry all the time, and there is no justifiable reason. That's one of them. Crying. We talked about crying. People tearing up any minute, every time. They are tearing up. Kama ni mtoto, yualia kila wakati analia for no good reason. Refusing to go to school is another thing. Now, for a child would refuse to go to school. For an adult would refuse to go to work, or would refuse to wake up. Anasikia tu amechoka. Hata ukimwambia,
so this is not normal.
It's not normal.
Yes.
It's not normal, because a normal human being, even though sometimes we feel like now leo kumenyesha, unaweza sikia nivute blanketi kidogo, nilale kidogo, nipumzike. But the reasoning will just tell you, irrespective of, I have to go to work. But now someone with depression will completely not want to reason that way. So they would want to continue to sleep, avoiding friends, avoiding siblings, avoiding your colleagues, avoiding people that probably you were relating with before, avoiding even to go to church. Those people who go to church, you find that wame disappear from the church. They don't come any.
Can this lead you to a habit, Madam Joyce?
Yes.
Ulianza tu wewe depression ilikushika ukaanza kuavoid marafiki. Inaweza kukuletea habit, sasa umekuwa ka introvert fulani hapo.
Sasa, yes, of course that is developing a habit which was not there before. So inaweza kukuletea habit that is why people don't recognize people who are depressed, because wanasema si hiyo ni tabia yake. Si hata last week hakuja, hata last hajakuwa akija class, she doesn't come to class, so si tabia yake, siku hizi haji class.
Sio tabia.
Na si tabia, lakini ni habit anaendelea akiform as time goes on due to depression. Ndio maana watu hawa understand. People don't understand when someone is depressed. When someone is depressed, people don't understand. Because they are seeing this is a normal person. Haumwi mahali, or hasemi naumwa na kichwa ama na kohoa, umsikia kikohoa, umsikia akiumwa na mahali, lakini his mind is telling stable. It's not stable. It is telling him things or telling her things that are not really normal. So you find that someone does not want to avoid friends, avoid going to class, then if it is someone who is in school, also you find performance inaenda chini. Performance inaanza kuenda chini, they don't perform as well. Unaona mtu ambaye alienda university akiwa amepasua A, anaanza kupata ma receipts. What are they for? Receipts 2-3, unashindwa. It's not normal. This person, there is something that is going on in their lives. Interrupted sleeps, we talked about the other time. Interrupted sleeps, una usingizi, either insomnia or too much sleep. Unalala tu, unalala, and you don't want to really wake up. Loss of energy, we also talked about it the other time. Too much appetite, either you are eating too much or you are eating very little. Or you're eating very little. So those are some of the things that you can be able to identify that this person is stressed and depressed. And I want you to know, and I want every other person that is listening to me to know that depression is actually incapacitating. It is incapacitating, and I think in Kenya it's number 3 or so, or number 4, and in other countries it's already overtaking. Like in America, it's number 2. It's number 2, and number 2 incapacitating. It's totally incapacitating people. Loneliness, the idea of I do my thing, you do your thing.
Exactly.
The idea you don't even care about your neighbor. You don't even know your neighbors. You don't even know the people that are living next to you. It's mind your own business. Mind your own business. Wow. It actually escalates the depression.
There are too many, jamani. Kama unajiunga nasi ni mengi sana.
Yes.
Tunapumzika kidogo, tutakuwa tunarejea na mambo mengi. This is so amazing, msikilizaji.
Yes.
Things they are never normal, jamani. Ukiona mtu katabia kamebadilika kidogo, mlikuwa mnasalimiana.
Na kama umeona yako imeanza kubadilika, there is hope. There is hope.
All is not lost.
All is not lost.
Yes. 32 minutes habari saa 2 tunazama kidogo, tunarejea na mengi zaidi. Madam Joyce yuko ndani, atakuwa anakuelezea mambo na stress na depression. Wewe ni mtu ulikuwa unalipwa pesa kidogo, and all of a sudden umelipwa kubwa, umelipwa mingi. Pia being too comfortable can bring stress to you. Usicheze mbali, nipo kwa ajili yako, tunarejea na mengi tena zaidi. Madam Joyce,
yes.
We talking about now the do's and don'ts.
Yes.
What can I do and what can't I do?
Okay. Kabla niende kwa do's and don'ts, nataka kukumbuka form 4s ambao wamemaliza form 4.
Exactly.
Kuna wanafunzi ambao wamemaliza form 4 na wameenda into depression. Ama wanasikia ile marks waliscore si ile walikuwa wanataka. Kwa hivyo wanajifungia pale, hawataki kuongea na mtu na nini. Lakini nataka kuambia there is always an option B. And in life you have to have options. If option A does not work, option B will work. If option B does not work, even option C will work. Option C will work. So they shouldn't really lock themselves up feeling that there is nothing they can be able to do. There are a number of things that they can do.
Pia na wale ambao walienda shule form 1 ambazo
hawakuzichagua pia wawe wapole, and they should start looking at those schools because there are people, that is a dream school of somebody. Wherever you went, you may not have wanted it, but someone else wanted that school. So you can still survive in that school and you can still score all good marks. Not everyone can go to the schools that they desire.
Exactly.
Let's give an example of Nanyuki High. Nanyuki High ilichaguliwa na watu around 153,000. How can it accommodate 153,000? They cannot be able to accommodate. So let them understand that there is the choice of school, but there is also getting it. There are other people that are looking for it. So the do's and don'ts.
Exactly.
The do's and don'ts. Don't dwell on the past. Don't dwell on the past. The power of now. There is actually a book called The Power of Now.
Wow. Yeah, I'll come for a copy.
You look for it.
Yeah.
Look at now, or be now, or take a day at a time, or live a moment at a time. Don't live your life in wholesome or in wholesale. Don't live your life in wholesale. That is the past, the present, the future. Everything else is with you. Take a day at a time. Dwell in the present, not in the past. Today, look at today. Look at today. What do you need today? Do you have what you need today? If you have what you need today, that is good enough. Not what was there yesterday or the previous day, because you cannot undo the past. You cannot undo the past. What you have actually is the present. Exactly. What you are sure of is the present than the now. What you have now, what you are now, that is what you are sure of. You're not sure of tomorrow either. Yamepita. Na hata kesho isikustress hivyo. Jui.
We live for today.
So don't dwell on the past. Yes. Don't compare yourself with other people. Sometimes we compare ourselves with other people and we get depression because of that. You compare with ourselves or with other people that are doing better. We compare ourselves with other people that probably scored better marks. We compare ourselves with other people that are doing this or doing that, and us we are not doing. Don't compare yourself with other people. Even this social media, you know, there is so much in the social media. Yeah. There is so much in the social media. The pressure is too high. A cousin of mine, I saw her somewhere in a nice hotel taking photos and so on. And then she later on she told me, cousin, no, she said, cousin, yes. Unajua nilienda hapo, nilitumia only 50 bob to take a cup of tea. You know? Na labda wewe pale umejistress, umesikia mbona mimi siwezi enda mahali kama pale. You know, exactly. So don't compare yourself with other people. Live your life. Enjoy your life. Wow. At that moment. Don't catastrophize. To catastrophize is to look at things as this is the worst ever. It cannot happen. It should never have happened. You are making something very small become something very big, or you're making something big become bigger. You know, don't catastrophize. Even if you've not been, you don't have, or you've not received, or you've been rejected, or you've not been elected, or you have been, whatever it is that comes your way. Don't make it
so big. It's small to be solved.
It can be solved. Exactly. So don't catastrophize or make something look very, very big. Another thing, don't isolate yourself. Actually, isolation is the greatest enemy of healing in depression. Because when you isolate yourself, you don't get joy.
But some prefer this as a way to deal with stress. Nasema mimi nikikuwa stress na nitakaa peke yangu.
That is temporary stress. But not depression. When it goes to depression and you isolate yourself, it becomes worse. But ordinary way of dealing with stress, people have different ways. Yeah. People have different ways. Exactly. There are those that say, let me think over these things. I just want to be alone. I think over. They think over. They meditate. Some of them pray. And then after that, they are okay. But when it is depression and you isolate yourself, it becomes even worse. The do's. The number one do is exercise.
Mazoezi.
I am telling you, mazoezi is very good. That it can give you dopamine. I told you dopamine is the feel good hormone, the feel good chemical neurotransmitters in the body. Yeah. When you exercise, you actually get the dopamine, and it can even last for 3 days. One day's exercise, it can last even for 3 days. So exercise is very, very key. Ruka pale kwa uwanja, jump in your house, dance kidogo. You know, even dancing is exercise.
Wow.
Endesha baiskeli. Some kind of exercise that can help you, sweat and so on. It reduces stress a lot. Actually, I listened to someone saying, if whatever someone gets from exercise is able to be packaged in a tablet and be given to people who are depressed, we will have solved this problem of depression. So exercise is very, very key. A reality check is another key factor. Reality check. Checking on the reality. What is the reality on the ground? Because sometimes we get depressed because of ideal situation. This is how I want my life to be. But it's not like that. So you are not living the life now, and you're not living the life that that is in your mind. You are living the life hapa katikati. Exactly. So reality check is very, very good. Check your reality. Check your facts. Check your facts. Check your reality. Another do, the power of the now. That one I think I've talked about, the power of the now. Because sometimes we get stressed because of the past, and we get stressed because of the future, not the present. Present, mtu akikutana na wewe akuulize, ama ukae chini akuulize, what do you need today? What do you need today? leo unahitaji nini to make your life comfortable. Unaweza kuwa hujui, lakini sometimes unajua what I need today is probably I needed breakfast, I needed maybe water to take a shower, to enjoy myself, and then I needed probably lunch, I need probably supper, and I need a shelter, I need this, very simple things that probably you have. But you see, that's not what is stressing you.
What will happen after graduation? When mwanafunzi?
Sasa hapo ndio mawazo iko. Nitaenda wapi after graduation? What will, like that. Ama sikuwa nifanye hii degree, ama sikuwa nini. Those are the things that bring a lot of stress. Thinking, what will I do? What will happen? What will happen?
It is too dangerous to think a lot.
Don't think so much. But you can work towards a betterment. You can work towards betterment, but you should not over stress yourself on things that are to come. Then be goal oriented. When you're goal oriented, you break down. You break down your tasks. You break down what is giving you stress. You break it down when you are goal oriented. For instance, what is making you feel depressed? Maybe it is your academic performance, and you are a third year. What do you need to do?
Work
to get better grade, isn't it? Not to get depressed and stay in the house, So be goal oriented. What is it that you want to do? And then break it down and then work towards the goals. Prioritize. Prioritization is very, very important. That you have set your priority right. What are the first things? First things first. That's why we say first things first. You are prioritizing. What is it that you need now? What is it that you need later? You prioritize. If you don't prioritize, you feel like everything you must achieve it at this particular moment. It's not a must for you to achieve everything this particular moment. This generation, I don't know what you're calling yourself. Is it the Z or the Y or the digital or the millennial generation? A number of them have a mentality of success must be now. Success must be now. I have to start and succeed immediately. No, there is a process. There is a process. Day by day, gradual. Day by day, gradual. So prioritizing is very important, and being patient is very, very important. And then, of course, you also need to take care of yourself. Something called self-care, which probably we'll talk about another time. So those are some of the do's and the don'ts. Do's and the don'ts. Yes.
Msikilizaji, sijui wewe ulikuwa unafanya nini na hauku unafanya nini, but make sure unafanya mazoezi. Madam ashakwambia be real.
Yes.
Live beyond your don't live beyond your means.
Yes.
Kama wewe ni mtu ambaye una earn 1,000, acha kuishi kama mtu una earn million.
Exactly. And do you know there are some people who are very happy with earning 1,000 or earning 5,000.
And they're very comfortable with it.
And they're very comfortable.
And they know how to manage
actually, when you get stressed and you're earning 100, they are wondering what is wrong with you. Are you normal? So a reality check is very, very important. And living now is very, very important. Living now, knowing today I am comfortable, I am okay today, I don't have any problem. Not living in the past and not living in the future.
Right.
Because you get stressed by thinking about some of those things.
Wow. Yes. Again, don't compare. Kuna mtu anasema
don't compare
yourself. Kuna mtu pale unaenda yeye ananunua suti ya 25,000 na wewe unataka kununua ya 25,000. Hapana, don't compare yourself. Inaweza kuwa ni tamu. Hako ndani ni Madam Joyce, jamani, amezungumza mengi, lakini madam, before tumalize, what can a counselor do? Areas of za kuangazia. Okay. Sasa a counselor can be able to help someone who is going through depression. First of all, a counselor can help an individual be able to look at their internal orientation. Internal orientation is what is my thinking like? What is my thinking like? What is my subjective thinking? What do I think about when things happen? Like now when I was talking about don't catastrophize. When something happens to me, what does my brain tell me about that particular thing? Just the way I was telling you the other time. If I call you and you don't receive my call, what do I think? What does my brain what does my brain ako wapi? Kwa nini achukui? Ako na nani? Ako, So they will the counselor will help you to be able to check your internal orientation. What goes on in you?
when rejection comes, when loss comes, when death comes, what actually happens within you? What do you think? Because those are the things that cause stress and cause depression. Your internal orientation, what you think about. Then the counselor will also help you to know where stress is coming from or where depression is coming from. You look at the stress generation or look at the origin of the stress and the origin of the depression. Maybe the origin of depression can be making wrong decisions. Because sometimes we get depressed because of our wrong decisions. We make decisions, but our decisions are not right. Let me use an example. Like probably you have money, good money, but your investment decisions are off. They are off. You know, the way you invest, you get money, you get your salary. You buy chicken, you buy fish, you buy meat, you buy, and it is one day. So you are really wasting. You are really wasting how you are using your money. You are wasting your money because you are overbuying, you are overusing, ile kitu ya kujiambia ati napigia mwili pole. Sijui hiyo kitu ilitoka wapi. And I think so you get money, you get money and you misuse it. You actually misuse it completely, and then wrong decisions. You are making wrong decisions. Wrong decisions can be even in investing in things like pyramid schemes. You know, we have so many pyramid schemes. Mahali unaambiwa weka hii pesa itazaa after I don't know how many months hii pesa itazaa. So you may make a wrong decision. So the counselor will help you to locate the stress generation, where the stress is coming from. The counselor will also help you to be able to relieve negative past experiences. Negative past experiences, like, seeing which is this past that is controlling you. We have so many youth that even we cancel. And these youth, they tell you, my mother, my dad, my what, and they are talking about the past. Yes, it is true. The past can have an effect on you, but
it can be changed.
It can be changed.
Exactly.
It can be changed. You cannot be a 25-year-old young man and you are still talking about your parents, your what. I mean, there must be a time where you say, yes, focus. There was my parents, yes, but this is me now. I need to make my life work. Exactly. Or I need to make success out of my life. So then you check the past. You check the past. You check so that the client can be able to release or let go the past. The past should not control you. You should not be caught in a loop, in a loop or in a cycle. And then they can be able to help a client not to look at themselves in terms of history, the past. What is it has been there in the past, and then you look at yourself. You describe yourself according to the past, or your job, or your title, or your body size, or the likes in the social media. You are more than that. You are more than your money. You are more than your history. You are more than your body size. You are more than the likes in the social media. You are more than the title that you carry. So the counselor will also be able to help you. The counselor will also be able to check your global thinking. What do you think when things take place? What do you think? Just the way you look at some people say men, it's not all men.
Yeah.
Because when you're saying men, and you, for instance, you're a woman, and you are saying men are the same. Men are dogs.
Generalizing.
Men are don't know what, generalizing. Those men, they are your brothers. You could be fathers. Having brothers. You could be having a father. You have a father, actually. So when you are abusing all men, you're actually abusing your father, and you're abusing your brothers,
exactly.
You're abusing your uncles, wow. You're abusing, any man around you. It is not a matter of generalizing. It's not a matter of generalizing. Even women, when you abuse all you women,
your mother is there.
Your mother is a woman.
Sisters.
Your sister is a woman. Your grandmother is a woman. So they will look at that global thinking of putting a blanket and saying, women, men, this country. Like people from Kenya, we have so many Kenyans who say, this Kenya, this Kenya, these Kenyans.
You are Kenya.
Now you are also a Kenyan.
Exactly.
So you're criticizing Kenyans, but you also are what?
Criticizing yourself.
You're criticizing yourself.
Yeah.
Then the unrealistic expectation. Again, that is what also brings a lot of stress, Unrealistic expectation. If you really love me, you should do this. If you really do this, you should do this. If you really, unrealistic expectations that sometimes are not able to be met. So the counselor will also help you to face the reality and to drop some of those unrealistic expectation that cannot be met. So those are some of the things that people can do.
Na pia umeweka goals zenye wewe umeweka, unasema by the end of this year nitakununua gari,
which is okay, if you are working towards it. But if it doesn't come to pass, don't
sijui. Right. Akisema akiongea ni Madam Mghoi, msikilizaji, sijui usemi wako ni upi kulingana na hilo. Kupitia tu wale ambao wanazidi kuingia ndani, anasema CJ na kupata loud and clear, nasikiza show nikiwa upande wa Chuka Town, nafurahia sana and say hi, of course ni hivyo. Kutafuta maswali tu leo ni kama watu hawana maswali, but wanasema tunasikiza chini ya maji and it is nice and it's very amazing. Kumalizia tu Madam Joyce. Sasa kuna mtu ambaye anasema I'm so immortal to stress and depression. And siwezi kitu wewe umekuwa stress lakini hutaki kukubali. I'm so strong.
Anasema they are strong.
Hii kitu I can counter it. Hata siwezi tafuta counselor.
It is possible. It is possible because a normal human being, by the way, what a counselor does, a counselor wakes up your internal strengths, your internal energies that help you deal with stress. Otherwise, every normal human being has internal mechanisms to deal with stress. Every normal human being has internal mechanisms to deal with stress. When the internal mechanisms are overwhelmed, that is the time the person can seek counseling. Otherwise, someone can go through stress. Like now, stress is a normal day occurrence. And not everybody who gets stressed goes to see a counselor. Because your internal mechanisms, your internal mechanism is able to help you deal with the particular stress. So they shouldn't really worry if they can be able to deal with their stress without necessarily seeing a counselor. It is quite in order. And actually, the counselor only wakes up your internal mechanisms to be able to deal with the stress. Because you already have internal mechanisms. Every human being has internal mechanisms to deal with stress, day-to-day stress. Every normal human being has that. But when now this internal mechanism is overwhelmed, that is the time that the person has to seek a counselor. So they shouldn't worry. If they're able to deal with their stress on their own, do it by all means. And then others are also helped by psychosocial support that they have. Because there are people who go through stress and almost depression, but their family is so well knit. They take care of each other. They talk, they discuss issues. And in the course of doing that, they end up coming out of that particular stressing situation. The psychosocial support, relatives, friends, family members that are there. Some people, the church also acts as a therapy. The church going to church and just telling God, take over. I am stressed. I am depressed. I am having these challenges and so on. But you, God, you are able to do, exceedingly abundantly above. So they go to God and they also deal with that particular stress. Not necessarily going to a counselor.
Yeah.
But now when it becomes excessive is when people are advised to take medication to go to a counselor. Otherwise, it's possible for someone to be able to deal with their stress normally
at personal level.
Right.
Tukizidi kumalizia manake it is just 2 minutes ndio ifike wakati. Your last words, madam. Just in 30 seconds.
Oh my God. My last word. Yes. My last word is that it is possible, but we should also know that this is a mental health month. And so we are talking about mental health.
Yes.
Mental health is just like any other health. If you take care of your mind, it's just like taking care of your body. If when you cough, you go to the hospital, when your mind is also telling you things that are not normal, you also need to seek medical attention. But it is possible. it is possible to live out of stress and out of depression by doing the do's
and the don'ts.
Wow. The do's and the don'ts. So really, it is very, very possible. There are myths and misconceptions about depression. Wengine wanaona ni kurogwa, wengine wanaona it is spiritual, mapepo imejaa pale.
Si mapepo.
Wengine wanaona wamerogwa or something like that. But really, let's not take that route of looking at it as a myth or mapepo or whatever. There is mental health problem. People have depression.
And they can be solved.
Amazing
sana jamani.
Yes.
Wow, that is Madam Joyce Mghoi. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you too.
Tuesday so tunafurahianga kila Tuesday ku-host na pia wasikilizaji wetu wanafurahia.
Sawa.
We are hoping for the best.
Walete topics
zenye
wanataka tuangalie.
Kama imekuguza jamani, na kama uko na topic pale unaona tunaweza tukaizungumzia, you are free to raise it in 0114506611. Tunaondoka, tunampisha Dennis Sangat, tunaweza kurejea, lakini kumbuka all is never lost and of course don't live beyond your means. Kila kitu kipo kwa ajili yako. Ni Chacha Jackson, akiondoka ni Madam Joyce Mghoi, Director Career Office Chuka University. Tucheze mbali, rejea. Bye.